Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the final part of the chess game tutorial. We're pretty much done with the whole movement stuff of all our pieces except some special moves such as the promotion, the en passant, and also where the king switch places with the rook. Yeah, so what I would like to do is actually complete these three moves, but first let's add a chessboard, an actual piece of graphics that we have in our folder. Because right now we pretty much have no visual if we turn on the gizmo. So I'm gonna go back inside of my artwork folder. I have a chessboard here, and here it is. Let me just put it in the scene so we can have a look. Now obviously this one is not going to be big enough, as you can tell. We'll have to do some resizing, and I've did that before starting the video. The actual perfect size is a little bit weird. You have to go on the chessboard, then modify the scale factor for 14.25 in case you're using the same asset as me. If you're making your own asset, just make sure that all your tiles are 1 by 1. And that's actually what I need for my tiles to be 1 by 1. So I'll be putting it under my chessboard object. I will be calling it just board. And let's move it somewhere where it makes sense. So if we go back here, is that fine? I think it is. Let's press play, and yeah, it looks perfect actually. So let me just go put a texture on that. I think we have a texture as well. If we go under material, chessboard, there's a material here. I just have to create it. So albedo, we're gonna be using this, and we might as well use the normal map. Why not? Let's make sure we fix the normal map, and here we go. And as well the occlusion was included. So here we are. Right. So what I'd like to do now, before we even do those moves, like I said before, what I'd like to do before that is create some kind of effect on the object we select, because right now we select an object, we don't really get any feedback. We just know that we selected it because we're good at chess or something of the sort, but we don't really have any feedback. So let me just go ahead and oh wait, never mind, we do have a feedback, but in order to see it, we're gonna have to lower the board a little bit. This is the feedback we get. So these tiles, these white tiles, that tells us we're allowed to go there. So what we're gonna do is actually turn this into another material. We're gonna be using a material that we give our object whenever we select it, and that material needs to assume the texture we currently have. So say we're targeting the pawn over here, we are going to go fetch his texture that he currently has right now on his material that he currently has right now. Then so we're going to add the outline to this, or sorry, we're going to replace that material, then put the old texture we had on that new material, then apply it to the object. And once we move that object, we just we make sure that we put the last material we had. So that sounds a little bit complicated, I know it is, so let's go ahead and open up the board manager. We're gonna do it instead. It's going to be fairly more simple if we just code it. Alright, so somewhere up here, just pretty much wherever you'd like, I am going to declare two new materials. So the first one is going to be private. We're gonna call it private material previous mat. And the next one is going to be a public one, so public material selected mat. Okay. Next step, I'm going to go down to the selected chessman, or I mean select chessman function, and right about here we actually get our selection, and that's pretty much where we should have our code running. So if we have at least one move, that means we select it, and then after selecting it, what I like to do is actually say previous mat is going to equal selected chessman get component. We're gonna get the mesh renderer component, and then from the mesh renderer we're gonna go get the material, like so. Now once we have that, we are going to go ahead and just modify our selected mat. So we're gonna say selected mat dot main texture is equal to previous mat dot main texture. And then finally, selected mat dot never mind that, I messed up. We're gonna say selected chessman dot get component, then we're gonna go get the mesh renderer once more. We could be storing it in a temporary field, but I don't really think it matters too much at this point. Then material, and we're gonna replace that material by selected mat. Okay, so pretty much what we did is we made sure we selected something. Once we had something selected, we stored his current material into a field right here, previous mat, that we don't touch. We don't really want to touch that ever. That's our base material. That's when they go back to default. We're not allowed to touch that. But what we did touch, though, we modified our selected mat. We put the texture that was on the previous mat, and then we applied that new material on the chess piece. So let's go check out in the game what it's going to give us. We're not gonna return back to the old material just yet, but say we click it, we get a error, and that's because we don't have a material just yet, which is true. So let's go under artwork, material, create, and let's create a selected chessman material. Okay, so I'm just going to drag say a black bishop in here, and we're gonna put the selected material on him. So what kind of effect could we give our object? We could be just, I really feel like putting an outline around it, but for that would need another shader. So I'm just going to do it with a really easy one. So let's say unlit. We're gonna make sure that it's unlit. So unlit texture. And then after that, once this is done, I will go to import some toon shading texture, and I'll be putting that on this object instead. And we're gonna try out with this, and after that I'll go import some toon shading texture. So let's make sure our material is like this, and then we're gonna remove those two. And let's go under the chessboard. If we expand board manager, as you can see here, there is the selected mat field. And now let me just find my project folder once more. It is. I'm going to drag and drop my selected material in this field, so we have it under artwork, and then material, selected chessman, and I'm just gonna put a space there. Okay, so selected chessman under this field. Good. If we hit play on this and have a look, when I click on my object, it actually assumes the texture it had, and then it changes that texture on the material, which is exactly what we want. But then we have this error where we never actually go back to the previous texture. So what we're gonna do is we are going to go in our move chessman function, which is just here, just below that, and at the very end we're gonna say selected chessman dot get component. Again, we're getting the mesh renderer dot material is equal to previous mat. Okay, now if we were to hit play, as you can tell, we now go back and we have this little effect around our pawn when we play it. Okay, so I'm quickly going to go under, what is it, assets, import package. We're gonna import some effects. Those ones are free, so you don't need to actually pay for them, and it's not for Unity Pro, it's for Unity Standard as well. So under effects, I will grab, gotta find it first, toon shading. I'm only grabbing toon shading, nothing else. So import, and now I should have a new folder right here, standard assets, effects, toon shading. And under that we do get some new shaders, and we also get some new material. Okay, but we're not really interested in the materials, we're really interested into the shaders, because we already have our own material. And talking about him, let's go open it up. So select the selected chessman material. We're gonna go up here under shader, then go under toon, and let's do a basic outline. Now if we bring another piece to the board just to test it out, let's lower it appropriately like this. Okay, now I'm going to drag and drop this shader And that's the kind of result we would get, assuming it had the good texture. So what? That's the king. So let's go find the king. Where is the king at? Well, we can also play with the outline width. So if we take a look in our game scene instead, that's going to look like that, which is really not too bad. So I actually like this. What I'll do now is I'll just remove that, put it back on none, and adjust the width like I wish. Maybe like this, so 0.005. And then we can remove it, and the material has been saved. Here we go. Okay, so now we get this kind of result, which doesn't look too bad, and I actually like it. So, we've got some selection going on now. We actually see what's going on our board when we select something. That's very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and code our additional moves. So what we'd like to do now is have the en passant working. So basically, the way this move works is you need a pound, say around here, and you need this pound. Usually he's only allowed to go one move like this, and then this pound would be able to eat him. But what the en passant does is, whenever you play this and you go 2 steps in front like so, this pound is actually allowed to eat it during that turn. So the turn after that, it would be able to go in diagonal and actually remove this one. So that's pretty much how it works. It's kind of complicated to explain like that. So again, we will just go ahead and encode it. Let's go under board manager. So under board manager, what I'd like to do is, since we only have one turn to do that move, you can't simply just go like 2 steps forward and then wait one turn and then eat that piece. You have to do it exactly when the other person does that move, does 2 steps forwards. So let's go up here in the board manager, and we will create a private int array of 2. We won't set the size just yet, and let's just call it en passant move. And we will be not instantiated just now. Let's go in the start and actually instantiate, or maybe under the panel chessman. Instantiate to a new int 2. Which is simply going to be a position on the board when we're allowed to do it. So what we'll do is actually set this public. So let's go ahead and go up here, make this a public int, and maybe even a set get. So let's go ahead and just make this accessible for our pound, and I'll just put a capital. Okay, and then I gotta go change it back. Sorry about that, I keep changing my mind. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go down to the move chessman and actually start writing some really nasty stuff. If the move is allowed, so we're inside the if allowed move, and down here we check, is there a piece? If so, let's capture it. That's not something we need in this case, because if there's a piece, we can't do the move, so that's not going to work. So we're gonna go down there, and we're gonna say if selected chessman, the one we selected, the one that is moving right now, dot get type, is that allowed? Yes, get type is equal to type of pound. So if we're moving a pound, then let's go inside of that, and we're gonna check if selected chessman dot current y is equal to 1, and then we're gonna do an end statement. So if we're on the pound line on the first move of that pound, and we are going, and where it is over here, and y is equal to 3, which is a 4th tile, that means we did the move where you go forward 2 tiles for the white team at least. Now if that's the case, if that is both equal, that means we're going 2 steps forward. So en passant move at the index 1 is going to equal x, and let's just open this up, and then en passant move at the index 1 is equal to y, like so. And now we have our position. Oops. Okay, so that's only for the white team though. If we want to do it for the black team, let's just go ahead and copy this. Else if selected chessman current Y is at 6 and we're going to 4, which is the 5th tile. And that's the 7th tile. Then we're going to do en passant move is equal to that or that. Right. What else do we need to do? Now that we have these information, we could actually check them inside of the pound script. But before that, let's just make sure that they're reset after the turn. So the way this works is we're going to go ahead and just, if we do the move, let's go ahead and set that information, and then we're going to move our guy, change the selected chessman, do all that kind of good stuff, and then what else is going to happen? We're going to switch turn. So we pretty much need to keep this right here, and then that information needs to be reset just prior to that. The reason is we do this, we set the information, and then the turn ends, but we need that information in the select chessman because that's where we get the allowed moves. So basically what we need to do is just go up here and say en passant move at the index 0 is equal to, we could be setting, let's set it to a -1 so we don't get any weird error. And then en passant move at the index 1 is also equal to -1. So just to make sure that we don't get any weird move on the first one, let's go to where we declare this, which is, I believe, in spawn alt chessman, and we're gonna say new int of size 2, and then open the curly brace and say -1, comma -1. So we declare our array right there. Okay. So do we have any errors? We don't. Doesn't seem like we have any errors. Let's go ahead and go inside of the pound script. So we're gonna open up our pound and have a look at what we're allowed to do now. Alright, so now inside of our pound script, all we have to do is go up here in the diagonal left, and we're gonna get our information first. So board manager.instance.en passant move, and then let's just say we have this array right here. I'm going to put it inside a temporary array so I can actually play with it a little bit. Let's just name it E, I guess. En passant move. So now we get a reference to that. We're gonna do if E at the index 0 is equal to current X -1 in this case, and E at the index 1 is equal to current Y +1. So if that's the case, that means we have a en passant move allowed here, and we can actually just say we can actually conclude this by saying R at this index is now equal to true, and then we can also return out of this, or I mean not return but break, so we don't need to test the other conditions. Oh, not before that, after that, like so. Okay. Right. So, well, you know what? Just in fact, I'm not going to be putting the break. I'm simply going to leave it like that. And we just need to copy this over to every single diagonal we get. So diagonal right, and all we have to change really is, well, first we could be putting this in a temporary array up top. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Like so. Sorry about reformatting my code, but I was making use. It was just a little bit too messed up. So we only need these two lines. We're going to be putting them pretty much everywhere in our diagonals. So if E at index 0 is equal to current X, in this case that's still -1 because we're going diagonal. I mean, no, that's +1 because we're going diagonal right this time. We could actually just copy this over, by the way. So I'm going to do that right here. Is equal to current X +1, and we're still going up, so is equal to current Y +1. That works. Now let's move over to the black team over here. So we're going left. That means current X needs to go -1, and we're going we're the black team, so we're going down on the chessboard, so current Y -1. Same thing here, minus and minus. So the same information we have here. Let's copy this for one last time. Paste it in here, so current x plus 1 in this case. Both places, like this. And now we should have this move working, hopefully. If we just try and play it. Oh, I did it too fast. Well. Okay, so now I'm going to move this guy over here. And we should be allowed to go there, and we are not. So let's go figure out why. Okay, so small mistake on my part here. When I do this move, say I just went from here to there, I went ahead and I debug what was inside of my en passant. So it was 2 in x and 3 in y. So that's 0, 1, 2, that's fine in x. 0, 1, 2, 3 in y, that's not fine. We should not get the piece where the piece is actually landing. We should get where the piece pass. So that is this over here. That would be 2, 2 in this case. So to fix that, we gotta go back inside of our board manager. So over here we say if selected chessman is equal to type of pawn, then we check, okay, is this your first move? If it is, just go set en passant to your selection, but that's not what we want. We'd like to set it one step prior to that, so it's always on the y-axis. So what I'll do is simply put -1, that's for the white team, and as for the black team, just do +1. Okay, now we should get something that works. Let me just go check real quick. I should get 2, 2 down in the console, and there we go. And now as far as the move goes, let's see if it is working. And as you can see, I can now go over here, but I don't actually destroy a piece, so that's the next step. We actually have to destroy something. Right, so if we do make that move, if we do manage to land this move, so what we'll do is actually do a hard check. We'll do if to x, which is where you're supposed to go, is equal to en passant move, and you gotta do it before you reset it, of course. Oops. En passant move at the index 0, and y is equal to en passant move at the index y. That means you actually did the move, right? That means you're actually going to that position. You're only allowed to go when you have the en passant condition. Now, if y is equal to 6, I believe, is it 6? Yes, that's 6. That means we're on the white team and we're capturing a black piece. So we're gonna open up the brackets for this one, and then we're gonna do else, because there's no other way to actually go in there. That is the same exact thing as saying is it the white turn or is it the black turn? But we're just making sure using these values. So that would be a white turn and that would be a black turn. Now if we do manage to do that move and we're on the white team, we have the current position of our own piece. Now if it's the white, we just gotta look for the piece behind us, and if it's the black, then we just gotta look for the piece in front of us when we're looking at the board. So what we're gonna do is actually just take this, and we're gonna say chessman C. Without the chessman, we're just gonna say C is equal to chessman at the index X, and then if we are the white team, we're gonna do -1 because we're going down on the board. Else C is equal to Y plus 1. Now we have the pieces. What we can do is actually just copy this code we get over here and destroy those two, like so. And we should actually get something working now. Since we have code that is pretty much repetitive, we could actually take it out like so, and actually leave the else if on single lines like this. Okay, let's go test it out, see if everything works. Hopefully nothing has broke our game just yet. So we're gonna do that move. Should be able to go diagonal left, right, and it should delete this piece. And no, because we broke something. So let's have a look. Oh, sorry, here I said en passant move at the okay, no, we can't do that. We're gonna say at the index 1, not the index y. Just a small typo because I'm getting a little bit tired. Sorry about that. Again, out of No, null reference this time because chessman does not exist. Now why is that? So if y is equal to 6, I believe it is my condition over here that is not working. So instead of saying if y is equal to 6, I'll just say if it is the white turn, that means we're moving a white piece. So basically we need to look behind us. Okay, so let's try it out and see if everything works just fine. So I'm going to go here, or actually this side. This is a black team, we get the selection, we actually get the piece behind us, so that's the move. Now let's try with the white team. And I also got the move. So that was allowed, that's very good. Okay, what else could we be trying? We pretty much already tried everything we could with this. I'm just going to make sure by testing another side. So right here. Okay, so the next move is actually called promotion. So whenever you get one of your pawn all the way to the end, so I'll just do it really quickly. Once you get your pawn all the way to the end, you're actually allowed to promote him, and this is going to cause him to become a queen, basically. So, which is pretty much just the best piece on the board. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here in board manager, and we're also going to check. Okay, if selected chessman is of type pawn, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna say if y, which is the place we're going in the y, if y is equal to 7, that means we made it all the way up on the board. So as a white team, it's a good thing, and you can't ever go there as a pawn if you're the black team because you're starting on tile 6. So if you make it there, then you get to be a queen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say we could actually just instantiate a queen over there instead. So first off, we're gonna destroy our own pawn. So active chessman dot remove, and we're gonna remove ourself. So ourself is the selected chessman at the moment, and we destroyed that very selected chessman. Now what we need to do is actually instantiate another one. So we got the spawn chessman function, which is right here, and we got to give it an index. So that's if we're on the white side. If we're on the white side, we got to go use the index. I'm not sure. Let's go check in spawn all. Oh, spawn all chessman. So we're spawning for the white team, and there it is. That's 1. And for the black team, it is 7. So if we go back to our move chessman function, where were we? Over here. So we spawned the prefab 1, and we spawned it at X and Y, like this. Now we do the exact same thing on the other side, but instead of doing spawn chessman 1xy, we do spawn chessman 7xy. So if, we'll do else if. So else if y is equal to 0, then we go ahead and remove this, destroy the chessman, and then spawn at 7, like so. Now what we could also do is, in order to just make sure that nothing is broken, we actually set that chessman back. So I'll go ahead and down here I'll say selected chessman is equal to chessmans with an S at the index X and Y. Okay, so he makes it all the way over there. We didn't really destroy this piece, and it didn't really lose its material, so we gotta go find a way to fix that. Okay, so it's pretty much the same error. So this is not a game object, this is a chessman type. So we gotta destroy the game object of that chessman. Okay, so we try once more now, and let's actually move forward. Eat this piece, why not? Then go there, go there. Then he becomes a queen. Okay, and we can keep on going, and this queen should work because our code is made in a certain way. And there we go. We now have another piece. Another queen, actually. And that's pretty much it for the promotion move. It wasn't really a complicated one. Now, in promotion, in real chess, you can actually promote any pieces you want except the pawn, but But for this one, I really wanted to only choose a queen because first, that's what everybody does because it's the best piece, but also because I don't have any ways to choose which piece I'd like. I don't have a keyboard to input. I could have some buttons if I were to make them, but I'm doing this for mobile phones, so I don't really want to be putting any kind of UI in that tutorial just yet. But you know, usually you just put some buttons over there and you say which kind of piece do you want to become. Do you want to become a knight, a queen, a rook, or a bishop? Because you can't be a king, and you can't be a pawn. Alright guys, so I'm going to end this. Alright guys, so I'm going to end it on this note because it's getting a really long tutorial and I didn't really want it to be that long in the first place. I only wanted to have 3 parts, but turns out that chess is more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And there's also another move that I didn't cover where the king can swap place with rook, and I don't really want to cover it just yet, to be honest. So what I'll do is just close this off, and if you guys need some help with this move, I can go ahead and help you personally. But you know, it's you pretty much have to go inside of the king, then check is he on position 0 or position 7, and then is the rook over here, and is there nobody in between these two? If all those conditions are met, then you're allowed to swap both of these on their places, basically. Okay guys, so once more, I thank you a lot for watching. If you learned this or if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like, really appreciate that. If you have any question or comment, you can leave them in the comment section below, else use the Facebook page. And thanks a lot for watching once more, and I'll be seeing you guys in future tutorials.